entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. You are entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C.
Well, hello, my good people. Hello, hello, hello. We're back on this podcast yet again, Creative Conversations with Dr. C. I mentioned to you guys in the last podcast that we're going to continue to showcase our co-authors in a love letter to ourselves. And guess what? Have not made a promise that I could not keep. We have another fantastic co-author that is going to be joining us today, Miss Cece Stewart. Stewart has a lot to talk about, and I'm just gracious enough to say, you know what? Thank you for taking on that invitation and deciding to come on Creative Conversations to tell your journey in this book that was launched on February 21st. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Cece on so that she can tell her story, tell her journey, and her reasons as to why she decided to take part in this anthology. So I'm going to bring her aboard. Well, hello, Miss Cece.
Hello, girl.
Hello, beautiful, beautiful. So I
Hi.
was just telling the audience that we're going to continue to have this love fest,
Mm-hmm.
continue this train down these tracks, and guess what stop we made it at? We're at your stop and talking about your journey. Yes, about your journey and about this love letter that we all came to be a part of, to contribute to. So again, I always say thank you to the contributors for taking the time to even just say yes to being able to put pencil to paper and be able to unfold some things in your life that includes this love letter. So I wanted you to just come on aboard and just kind of tell the audience about who you are, and then we'll get into talking about this love letter. So you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, I don't really. I find it hard when it comes to me really talking about myself. So it kind of amazes me that it was easy to flow with this love letter to myself. But when it's like for me to verbalize it to other people, it's kind of like, you know. But who I am, if I had to say of the essence of who I am energy, I am strength, I am my ancestors, I am my children's mother. Those are things that I am, outside of titles on what I've done. Those are actually things that I embody, that I am. So those are just some of the few, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's so interesting that you say that, Cece, because I posted not too long ago about, we're celebrating women this month, right? And I'm going to keep saying it until somebody listens to me, that I think 31 days is just not enough to celebrate us as women. We embody life, we bring in life, right? We carry life. And so 31 days, I'm gonna say, okay, that's cool, but I think we need to be celebrated all year round, right? But we hold so many titles. We hold, as you said, mothers, whether it be a spouse or whether it be an aunt or daughter, co-worker. We embody so many things and so many titles that sometimes we forget about who we are as just women, as self, right? And so when I posed the question to the other 17 other co-authors in this book, and I'll show the book in a little bit, um, I purposely made sure that I included not just women, but men in this conversation as well, too.
Mhm.
So when I approached you and said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to do this anthology," what was your thoughts? What did you think a love letter actually meant? Because so many people have different definitions of what a love letter is. But what did it mean to you? What did it encompass when I say I'm really wanting you to do this love letter?
I really needed to take time to really speak to self. Like I'm always the one, around individuals. I'm always have elevating words, telling, encouraging people, just doing. And I said, you know what? I want to pour that back into me. And I felt like, we all say, we get so drained because we pour into so many other people and we're not able to pour into ourselves. And that's so true. So when approach me with this opportunity, I said, put me in the game, coach. I got this one. So, when you approached me, I had it done like the next day I sent the email. There you go, because it was like I was kind of waiting to do that. But I never took the time out for me to actually sit down and get it done. So I want to also thank you, for the opportunity to kind of like give me that push that I needed to get it done. I always wanted to do it, but it was like, you know what? But this sister said she had this, or my sons need this, or somebody else needs, me to be strong for this. So no, all right, let me put that on the back burner. I got you. I'm gonna come back. But but then it never just happened until you came, and I was like, oh, okay.
Like it was a spark that you needed. It
Yeah.
was like I got the firewood here. I just need this spark. I need to ignite it, right? And I think
Absolutely.
for me, as an author too, just wanting to be able to give back, right? Because this is one of the first one is a love letter to me. It was the love letter that I had to have for myself. Life happens, right? We become mothers. We have work. We have all these other things, but the writing piece for me was put on the back burner when all those things happened. And then I had my incident with my stroke, and I realized, you know what? I've always had this love letter within me. I had these things in my head, but I just didn't know where to place them. It was like a jigsaw puzzle for me, right? And so I said, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and speak this onto paper, because I keep seeing it in all the podcasts that I've had as it relates to this a love letter to ourselves. We want to leave legacy for our children's children. And what better way to do it through our own words? So after I did the love letter to myself, I realized I felt so free. It was a freedom, even a freedom prior to me even have already published 2 books prior to that. 3 books prior to that. I still didn't have that freedom that I really needed to have until I wrote that love letter to myself. And I had to read it to myself and be honest with myself. The honesty is what freed me, because now I can look at it and read it and say, you know what? This is me. This is her.
Right.
This is who I am. This is who I am embodied, right? And so I wanted other authors to feel that same joy that I felt. Because each time I've read this book multiple times, and each time I read it, I always cry. And I said, every podcast that I've been on, I've cried, because each person has a journey, and everybody's not at the same, stop. Everybody is in a journey of their own. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave that opportunity to other people to feel that freedom. So when you wrote your letter, what in that letter allowed you to really see Cece?
Well, it was the entire letter when I actually was able to let it flow, because I want to tell you, when I started to sit down, just like Hype, when you asked me, like, who am I groveled, and was like, oh, well, and I thought about it too much. I'm an overthinker, to a detriment at times. And in that letter, I saw that was my detriment. I said, come on, girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is you talking to you. Like, who knows you better than you? Sit back and flow. And that was it. So like, that was kind of like the thing where I had to tell myself, you know who you are better than anybody. Get out of your own way. Put that pencil to that paper, or that fingers to the keyboard and let it just flow. And that's what happened. So after I got out of my head and got out of my own way, I just felt like that was it. Like, so the whole letter was just, it was just, I just needed to get out my way. And then at that
Did you feel
moment,
the freedom? Did you see
yeah,
and that's the thing about it, as I've done these podcasts and listened to those who have written their love letters, each time I read them, I still continue to cry and see pieces of me in all those stories,
for
right?
sure.
And for you, just hearing the ability to say, let me get out of my own way. I think a lot of times we get so in our own way. We find every obstacle and make obstacles for ourselves when they don't need to be there. And so being able to get out our way and step into a comfort and step out of the comfort zone of that same mundane, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure the kids do this, I'm going to do that. We got to learn how to say, stop. Let me put me first. And I'll keep saying it every morning at 6:15. I get up. I say my prayers. I say my affirmation with the crust in my eyes, whatever this is on the side of my face. I say, I love myself. I am bold. I'm beautiful. I'm getting ready to conquer this world. If it's just one person I meet and make a difference in their life, then I've done what I was supposed to do. But in the same token, I know that I'm still a work in progress. Do you
Absolutely.
find yourself that you're still a work in progress even after you have written your letter?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like as long as I'm vertical and breathing, I'm going to always have work to do. No matter what I felt like, I may have set a goal for me for this day. All right, I ain't going to cuss nobody out, for, certain, that's a goal for me. But each day I am doing something to strengthen my character, to be a better me. I walked into a new identity. I was Claudette White, but that's an old past life. So with this new identity, I have to bring a new mindset. So I can't keep the same mindset and still be, and then, I can't get rid of the name and then come back. The things are still there. They're remnants. But as long as I continue every day to know that, girl, as long as you open up your eyes, you're going to have to work on yourself regardless. So yes, until I'm buried, that's when I know, and even then I don't know if I'm being complete.
I know that's right.
I still get there and still have an assignment.
I know you still got an assignment. Wait. You might be 600, but you still got an assignment to do. You ain't finished yet. So as long as you have, I say that same thing. I have that sentiment the same way as to saying that, there's always work to be done.
Right.
In 2024, my mantra is there's no reason to be stagnant. You don't have any room or even reason to say I'm stagnant, because if you're stagnant, then you're not moving. If you're not moving, then you're not improving.
Right.
So guess what? You got to make some adjustments and some concessions to what you want to see your better version of you to be. And so I pose the question to past guests. Now that you have written your letter, right? And you now have this blueprint of who you are, CC Stewart, because it was Claudette White, and we've now kind of transitioned to a new fold of her. What do you want to see transform each day? I know you say you're still growing, but what is one of those goals that you want to leave when you actually have the assignment is completely over and you're laying flat now and
right
now? What do you want to leave?
What I want to leave is the ability for my family and all of those who are around to keep looking inward and never let nobody tell you can't do it. Like never let, and I always tell my children, they'll be like, oh, all I need is somebody to doubt me. No, you don't need that. You don't need anybody to doubt you. What you need to do is have a surety within yourself that this is what you want to go do. Then that's when you'll have something to say to your haters, but you don't give them that power. That power is self. That power belongs to you. By you saying, oh, you need somebody to doubt you, you're giving that power to somebody else. So my thing to answer the question, precisely, don't give anybody your power. Don't give away your power. That power is yours and yours to keep, and you go with that. So that would be that.
That is amazing, because I think what we as people, we give too much ownership to other people, and then be trying to figure out, well, why couldn't I get ahead? It's because you allow the naysayers are ready to penetrate this wall. And
Right.
at the end of the day, I always tell people, I was living, I was existing, I wasn't living. And
Right.
so when I realized that I needed to learn how to live and learn how to understand that what God has poured into me, I have poured into my children, I need to learn how to manage up and walk away.
Right.
Right. I needed
Right.
to understand that I didn't have to always give 110%. I had to realize that I didn't have to always say, you know what, I'm gonna put this on the back burner because my children. No, but if I pour it into you, then you're
Mhm.
gonna be okay. So
Right.
now
That part.
when you calling me and say, Mama, no, I'll get back with you. Because
Mhm.
now I am living and I love the living piece of it. The living piece is my legacy for my children. So
Right.
I've said it in past podcasts that the anthology book is the first book that is in the Library of Congress. We
All
have
right.
gone global, meaning we are around this world. People are picking up this book. And so I'm
Mhm.
so grateful again to all of the co-authors who decided to say, you know what? I'm courageous enough to put pen to paper to let people see there is people that look like this. I am that person. I'm raising my hand to say, here I am. What can I do to help you? And so in helping, I want people to know that there's people out here who look like us, look like
Mhm.
them. And there
Right.
is a win-win in all of that, right? We don't want you to
Absolutely.
give up. You have a reason to live. You have a reason to sit at the table and tell your story, but your story needs to be told by you, by
Right.
not nobody else, but
Right.
by you.
Right.
So, with that being said, what do you do in your daily walk? How do you reward CC since now that she has sat down and she's
Mhm.
written her letter, she has told her children, do not allow anybody to steal your joy or give them
Mhm.
your power. What is Cece doing right now to affirm her every day, whether it be maybe going shopping? What are you doing now that you have sat down and realized that you needed to write this letter? You needed to
Mhm.
stand in your purpose. What are you doing for Cece now?
Actually, what I'm doing, like self-care for me, is actually doing what I said I was going to do, because I'm a procrastinator as well. Because again, I attend to others' needs before me. Like it seems like that's been that way my own child, and since my childhood. So it's kind of like ingrained in me. So it's hard for me to eradicate those behaviors. So for
Mhm.
me, self-care is doing what I said I would set out to do. So with that
Mm,
meaning, I'm writing books. I've already wrote a book, and I'm in the midst of writing another book, and I have a title for another one, and I'm gonna keep going. So that for me is self-care, because it's like, now, Claudette, you're taking care of you. You're
mm,
taking care of you. These are the goals that you set out to do so many years ago, but guess what? It's never too late. Go
mm.
get it. You know what I'm
Go
saying? So
get it.
that for me is self-care. Me,
Yeah.
me being my own cheerleader. I'm my biggest cheerleader.
Mm,
So that's self-care for me. Cheering myself on. I feel good because when I know I'm cheering myself on is when I produce my work. When I
mhm,
look down, I'll be like, wow, girl, you did that. Like sometimes I
mhm,
have to go over and read it and be like, oh my goodness, you did that. You do.
mhm.
So that's my self-care.
Yeah, that's amazing because we need to do that more often. We need
Mhm.
to understand that we don't need a whole bunch of people to cheer us on. If we cheer our
Right,
own self on, we're our biggest cheerleaders, and
right,
we need to remember that every day. That if
right.
I stand in the mirror and say, "Look, I'm bold, I'm beautiful, girl," she says she's selfish. She all, yep, I'm all that in a bag of chips.
Mhm,
That's what
mhm.
y'all say. That's what I am. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna
Right.
love me too, because loving myself is self-preservation, and it's key to survival. That's the only
Mhm.
way you're going to survive, because this world is mean. This world is
Right.
mean. So being your own biggest cheerleader is number one, and self-preservation is number one. I
Mhm,
heard you said that you're writing, and it's so interesting because
mhm.
I'm wanting you to write, just read just a little bit of
Okay.
your love letter. I
Okay,
want the people to see your writing or hear your writing if they have yet to purchase the book. So just a little bit of, and
okay,
give the title, and I'll give a little bit of your love letter, and we'll talk a
okay.
little bit about something else that I heard you say a minute ago about writing some books.
Sounds good. The title of my love letter to self is My Love. The part that I'm going to choose to read is you're such an inspiration, not only to your family, but to people in your sphere of influence. When you come into someone's life, your essence causes them to elevate. You change the trajectory of people's lives. Sis, you are powerful. Your words move mountains, and the tone of your voice commands attention. Younger generations look up to you, although they have witnessed you make some of your unwise choices. That has not changed an iota of who you are to them. You are loving, caring, warm, firm, assertive, nonsensical, funny, understanding, talented, smart, intelligent, and wise, to name a few. You leave an imprint on the lives of those to whom you truly choose to give your love to. You're dynamic and unforgettable. That's me.
That's Miss CC Stewart. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear all of those things that is encompassed in Miss CC Stewart? And guess what? You continue to shine. You continue to elevate. You continue to let your presence be known, because guess what? Your existence is needed in this world. I mean, you if you're impressing all these things on just not you, but
Hmm.
guess what? You now have told the world now, and the world is seeing that in your writing. But I wanted to get back to the fact that you said that you're writing a book. And it's interesting because Miss CC Stewart is our newest addition, family member to the Allure platform. So I am so grateful, through me navigating and networking and posing that question to her about doing that love letter. She has said to me, you know what? I got a little bit more to say. And guess what? I am so grateful that you have decided to come a part of the Allure family. So tell the audience about the new book that you are in the process of writing or have already written.
Oh, okay. Joyride is the name of it. And what it is kind of like a twisted uh fictional thriller. It has some like personal experiences in it. And I take the professional field of mental health. So that's where the twists and turns come from. So it's kind of like taking, a lot of people back to their childhood and going through certain things that we have been through that have changed who we are.
Mhm.
Some of the decisions we have made that may have, impacted our lives, whether it be for the good or for the worse. And then those people who you had and lost along the way, but that's okay because everybody's not supposed to go to every phase of your life, with you. But
Yes.
I still want to pay homage to because, girl, we had a time, so it was
Yes.
kind of like one of those things. But the joyride is, let me take you on different facets of where me and all these people that I had the
Mhm.
pleasure of being in life with, and I mean, some things went on, so it's real, like it's real intriguing. It'll keep you guessing. It'll definitely keep you like reading and not wanting to put it down because I,
Mhm.
let a couple people read it and they were
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, girl, I wish you could send me the rest." I said, "Ooh, girl, I'll tell you when it's gonna be available on Amazon." You
Ah,
know,
yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
that's kind of like a snippet into the journey of the ride, joy ride. Hmm.
So what's the genre would you consider that particular book to be?
Now, honestly, the prisoners is the genre where I'm reaching out to. Now,
Mhm.
it can be, anyone can read it and find, identify, and enjoy if that's just the case, just to be entertained.
Mhm.
But specifically the prison population, and that's
Okay.
because I've dealt with them like almost all my life, so I know the mental of people that are incarcerated and
Mhm.
just I want to speak to them and, kind of give them an outlet to, I guess, escape. It's like an escape route for
Mhm.
them, a reminiscing thing. So that's my targeted audience. But anybody, can enjoy it because, it's just that good. But,
Oh, I know that's right.
my targeted audience is, the individuals that are incarcerated.
So you would maybe call this a urban fiction.
Yes,
But
yes.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So all
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's good to be able to, like I said, be able to put pen to paper and kind of entwine some things that come from your life, but also see the surrounding, the urban pieces of it, so
Hmm.
people can see, that this is happening, and I want people to be aware of it. But your targeted audience is the people that are incarcerated, and they
Right.
still need to have some way of reading and and escaping their
Mhm.
four walls of what their lives is at this present time.
Right.
So I get that piece of it. So you said you had that, and it sounded like you had a couple more. That is Joyride going to be a series, or is it just this one book, or what
Well,
do you
there's another one that I'm writing. I'm in the midst of writing now. That's just a spinoff of Joyride, but that's going to be it. So
so it's
that,
meant to?
yeah, it's going to be. So it's called Still Riding Revenge. So that's the one that I'll be getting done. Completed here real shortly.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the second one that Joyride then is done. But I have a whole a litany of things that I'm not stopping.
Okay.
Until I'm not able to write. And then if I ain't able to write, they still got audio. I'll be able to say it, won't I?
Yes, yes, yes,
I still be
yes.
able to talk. I got my, so yeah, I'm going. You
You're
provided
going.
the opportunity for me, and I want to thank you for also always pushing me, because again, you witnessed how, procrastinated or said, okay, I hear you, but you just kept at it. You just kept at it. You just kept reminding me and kept reminding. And,
Mhm,
sometimes we do need that. Some
mhm,
people may feel like, oh, I don't need it. I know what I got to do. But sometimes you don't realize what someone says to you, how it, and, gets back into, your subconscious, and you
mhm,
sit there and you be like, ooh, oh, okay. And then you present me with an opportunity. I said, there is no way I cannot go now, so
mhm.
that was just it. So I want to thank you as well.
Oh, anytime. Like I always
Yeah.
tell, the Lore platform, as well as Creative Conversations with Dr. C, is a platform that God has allowed me to have. So this platform
Mhm.
is not for me, and I keep saying it. I'm going to continue to say it until I cannot say it any longer. This platform is not made for just me. It's made for other people who have voices that
Right.
want to tell their stories. Again, who better to tell their stories but you? And so this
Absolutely.
platform is just a platform that I was given, but God has made me promise that I will make sure that people other than myself are on this platform to
Hmm.
really showcase their talents that God has given them. So this
Right.
is it's kudos to the man upstairs. So I tell him thank you every day, but I thank you for really grasping onto the thought that you have something to share and that
Mhm.
you have something to give to the world. So kudos to you to just step out your comfort zone and out your own way and see what you have that was already in you. It was just me that said, God said, keep
Right.
tapping on her shoulder. Like, come on, what you waiting on?
Hmm.
So we are looking forward to Joyride, and then the sequel to that, still riding. So
Hmm.
I foresee a plethora of books coming your way,
Right.
Miss C.
Right.
Stewart. And I hear in as you talk, I hear a little bit of some poetry in that too. So
Hmm.
I foresee that there might be some poetry coming on down the line as you continue to dive into what you want the audience or the world to see as your writings. So with before we get off this podcast, is there anything else that you want to share with the audience about Miss Cece Stewart? Is there any? We've already said that you got books coming. Anything else that you're planning on doing? I know I mentioned not too long ago on another podcast where will be doing our brunch
Hmm.
September. So by that time, your book will be out, and probably book two probably will be out as well too, so that you'll be able to meet with some of your fans or the people that are now following you. Do you have any Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, so people can reach out to you and have a personal conversation or whatever to see what you're doing? Do you have
Right.
anything like that?
I do, but they're not pages that set up under me. So now that, because I'm usually one that I like to be behind the scenes. Like for me, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. Because I'm usually like, no, I don't want to,
Mhm,
do anything and do anything. But then I realized, what I've just done. There. I have no choice but to break out and to let it be known. So to let me be seen. So
mhm,
now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually, I have Facebook pages and, and TikToks and things of that nature, but my face is not on there. So
mhm,
now, and who I am is not on there. They're different names. And so
mhm.
what I'm going to do now is create those. And,
Okay.
then I'll start promoting and promoting self and my book and, things of that nature. And then I'll just actually say, hello world, here I am, so
Mm.
that type of situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my hometown, people know me, from
Mm.
poetries, I do slams and things of that nature. But, nobody else does. So I just feel like, okay, now I'm about to be out here. Just let the world see who you are, girl. Go glow.
Go,
So
go. I know
that's what
that's
I'm
right.
about to do.
Well, that's inspiring to know that that you have seen something. The light has come on, and now it's shining, and we got to put on our shades because we like, whoo, we can't take this, right?
Okay.
But what we can say is that you are actually on the Allure website
Mm-hmm.
webpage, which is Allure ALURE publishing.net, where you can actually go out and read the bio of Miss Cece Stewart. We will actually have her to come back on once she has to be able to reveal her book cover when it comes about. So we'll tentatively put some information out on that platform as well too, so people will know where to kind of follow you until you actually get up and running with your own pages, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever that is. But right
Mm-hmm.
now, we do have you listed under the web page, which is allurepublishing.net.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm just thrilled again to have you a part of the Allure family, part of this anthology. And as I've said to the other past guests, there's a book 3 coming out with this
Mm-hmm.
anthology. We're going to continue to push this love fest. Um, we're going to continue to let people know that we want you to continue to affirm who you are and your existence in the world. So I am again publicly asking you, once that
Mm-hmm.
book 3, would you be a part of that anthology as well, as it's soon to come? I just don't know when that's going to happen, but
Okay.
definitely want you to be a part of that. I did have a conversation again in a past podcast about actually putting the pictures to associate with the love letter. It makes a better impact, which at the time I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just really saying, let's get this anthology out here. I think people need to see it. People need to hear it, need to, be able to have some tangible things to go back to, because they might be going through things, but if they read this, maybe that'll help them. And me thinking that I could just put out just this thing through Instagram or my Facebook page, or the actual pictures of the people, but it didn't make any difference if they're not on the platform to know who you are. So my
Yeah.
goal is this next book will have the actual pictures associated with the love letter, so people can put a face to those writings for the next anthology. And actually, it
Okay.
has the title. I'm still kind of pondering over it, but you should see that hopefully before we
Mm-hmm.
get to the brunch in September.
Okay.
But I thank you for again taking this time to really showcase and really making your debate. What's the
Yeah.
word? What's the word I want to say?
I don't
Your
know. What are you trying to
this is
say?
your first time out on this
Oh,
platform, so
debut.
debut. Excuse
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, you had it. I got
Yeah,
you back.
debut. Well, thank you for having my back. The debut of
Mhm.
showcasing the transition from Claudette White to Cece Stewart, and we loving this Cece Stewart. We loving who she is and what she's representing, and letting people know that you're never too old to do something different and change the trajectory of what life has thrown at you. You
Right.
now are living proof that things are, and it happened for a reason, but it doesn't mean that you got to stand in it. You can move on and make things better for yourself. So I thank you
Right.
for that.
Absolutely.
So we can talk all day long. I promise you we can. But we're gonna bring this to an end.
Okay.
But we're gonna put it to bed. Again, I always say before I end these podcasts that remember that you continue to stand in your purpose, stand in and affirm who you are in your existence in the world, because you belong here. You have something to say. Your legacy is what we need to make sure that we put out there. Again, this anthology book is a part of the Library of Congress. So we're leaving legacies for your children's children, their children. So anytime they want to go and Google a CC Stewart or a Claudette White, it's going to be in the Library of Congress.
You're
Your
right.
words are now ingrained and it will never go anywhere. So I thank you for taking the time to just let people know who you are. So with that being said, got to put this to bed. But again, we're going to continue to have these conversations with a few more of our co-authors in a love letter to ourselves. But again, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and continue to know that you're loved, and that only way to love yourself is to tell yourself that every day. So I'm going to say good night. Peace.
All right.
Until another edition comes our way. You all have a wonderful day and good night.